Hi, you're on the channel A Brief Retelling, and today I will tell you about the cartoon City of Heroes. Enjoy watching. This guy participates in robot fights for money, and he also has a real talent for robotics. He is attracted by fast earnings and adrenaline. But is this the limit of dreams? Hiro Hamada has yet to find true values in life, but the path to them will not be easy. Illegal robot fights take place in the dark corners of the city. The crowd applauds. The girl's pink robot knocks the fat man to the ground, but he reveals a hidden weapon and cuts her in half. The big guy takes his winnings. A skinny kid comes out of the crowd. He wants to perform with his homemade. Throwing the last money into the bank, he sits down against the bully. In 2 strokes, the fat man deals with the guy's piece of iron, but the kid demands revenge and takes a decent amount out of his pocket. The kid opens a bluff and turns on the megabot mode, dodging attacks and tearing the favorite for spare parts. The big guy does not accept humiliation and demands to teach the guy a lesson, but Hiro is saved by his brother who arrived on a moped. While they are driving away from the bandits, Tadashi scolds his brother because he is burying his talent in the ground. Hiro he listens. He is delighted with the victories and prize money. Salvation is close, but the way to the guys is blocked by the police. Aunt Kez gets the guys out of the station and gives them a beating. She has been trying to be a mom for them for 10 years, although she does not consider herself suitable for this role. The parents of the children died, and she had to take on this burden. The family arrives home, and after all this, Hiro finds a new arena for fighting as if nothing had happened. He's in a hurry to run away from home again in the middle of the night. Tadashi does not manage to reason with his brother in any way.
I'll take you.
Really?
I can't stop you from going, but I'm not going to let you go on your own.
Sweet. What are we doing at your nerd school?
On the way, under a far-fetched pretext, Tadashi takes the bully to the university. Hiro meets talented young guys inspired by science. Self-confident Gogo is engaged in high-speed bicycles on an electromagnetic suspension. Wasabi, who does not tolerate disorder, is fond of plasma lasers. Friendly and restless Hani Lehman bright chemical mixtures. And Fred, who came up with all these nicknames for the guys, is not even a student at all, but just a symbol of the institute from the support group. The guy is a fan of science and endlessly wants to improve his lizard costume in order to arrange spectacular performances. Tadashi leads Hiro further and shows his invention.
Hello, I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion.
This is a medical robot capable of performing diagnostics and providing first aid. Externally, it is made of air-inflated vinyl to be soft and harmless, and inside it is a complex and powerful mechanism and a special chip that houses the memory program and the personality of the robot. If you tell the robot that you are satisfied with the treatment, then it deflates and puts itself in a compact suitcase. Tadashi's teacher, Professor Robert Callahan, enters the room. Hiro does not immediately recognize him, but he has read all the works of the scientist, and it was from his books that he assembled his robot gladiator. Professor Juret, a guy for looking for easy ways, using his technology for contractions. At the university, they set more complex tasks. Hiro still catches fire with the idea of going to university to study with an idol. Tadashi tells his brother about a talent contest where the authors of the best projects deserve such an honor. Hiro works tirelessly, but he has a creative crisis. The brother connects and helps him find a new approach. The idea was born. Together with new friends from the university, they drag containers with the invention to the competition. It seems Hiro has never wanted anything as much as he does now. He's very concerned. But he manages to cope with the excitement, and he demonstrates a prototype of microbots, which is joined by thousands of others.
I think what I want them to do, they do it.
Microbots can build structures, move loads and people, and much more. It impresses the participants, and the businessman, Mr. Cray, offers Hiro to buy the patent for a lot of money. But the Professor Callahan warns, Cray's reputation is tarnished. A businessman is ready to violate scientific principles for his own benefit. The guy refuses and receives an invitation from the professor, which he dreamed of so much. The brothers stay together for a while. Hiro is very grateful to Tadashi for his support. Suddenly they hear a fire siren. The exhibition pavilion is on fire, and Tadashi finds out that his teacher has not yet got outside.
Callahan's in there. Someone has to help.
A guy runs into a burning building, dropping his cap, and after a couple of seconds, there is an explosion. Tadashi died. At the funeral, Hiro sits apart from everyone, heartbroken. He spends his days at home, being depressed, and does not show up for classes at the university for a whole month. New friends send him messages, but he doesn't respond. The guy thinks to go back to fighting in the arena, but drops the robot on his leg. Crying out in pain, he accidentally activates his brother's robot, Baymax. He wants to diagnose the patient. Hiro tries to get rid of the robot and accidentally finds one of his own under the bed microbots. He is striving somewhere, but where? After all his brothers were destroyed in the fire.
Why don't you, find out where it's trying to go?
Would that stabilize your pubescent mood swings?
Hiro sarcastically agrees, and a moment later, Baymax is already on the street. Hiro gives chase. Baymax rushes straight through the freeways, and Hiro somehow catches up with him. They find themselves at the door of a closed warehouse. Climbing through an open window, they discover a whole factory for the production of microbots inside. The heroes make an extra noise, and the ocean of microbots comes to life. They are controlled by a masked stranger. The couple gets to the window and Baymax gets stuck. Hiro hurries to push him out, but losing his balance, he flies down with a big heights. Baymax catches the guy and softens the fall. The police don't believe the story Hiro, and the Baymax is discharged and begins to deflate. They have to return home, where the robot recharges and notices the cap Tadashi. Hiro replies that his older brother has died, and this causes him heartache. Baymax undertakes to provide therapy and notifies Hiro's friends about his condition.
Now what are you doing?
Other treatments include compassion and physical reassurance.
I'm okay, really.
You will be all right.
The guy suddenly realizes that the tragedy with his brother could be rigged to steal microbots. He rushes to the garage to upgrade the robot. Baymax gets a new armor and a second chip with a library of attacking techniques. Hiro also trains the robot to greet Give Me 5. The heroes return back to the warehouse, but the microbots have already been taken away from there. They continue their search and discover the villain in the port. He gets something out of the sea with the help of bots. Suddenly, the observation is interrupted by Tadashi's friends, who were called by Baymax. These are the same researchers from the university. They want to help Hiro with his depression, but now is not the right time. The masked villain comes to the noise. He throws a huge container at the company, but Baymax catches him and saves the guys. Wasabi rushes behind the wheel and the chase begins. A masked man moves around the city on microbots, as if on a huge wave.
We don't know. He's trying to kill us. He's trying to kill us!
Wasabi drives too carefully, and Gogo grabs the steering wheel. The car flies over obstacles and skips in front of the train. The villain almost manages to grab them, but the guys break out of his clutches. But before they have time to rejoice, their car breaks through the fence and crashes into the water. Baymax drops his armor to float up and save a group of friends. Drenched and numb, they follow Fred and do not believe their own eyes. A guy who dresses and behaves almost like a homeless man turns out to be the heir of the rich and invites them to his huge mansion.
Don't you guys get it? The man in the mask who attacked us is none other than... Voila!
This is Mr. Cray, to whom Hiro did not sell the patent for his microbots. The guys doubt it, but it turns out that Baymax managed to scan the medical indicators of the masked villain during the chase. Hiro comes up with a plan to catch the mysterious man and tear off his mask. Hani Lehman will use colored foam to immobilize the opponent. Gogo will change his bike to high-speed roller skates. Wasabi will get sharp laser blades, and Fred's suit is now jumping high and breathing fire. The guys are delighted with the new abilities. Baymax also gets a full arsenal. He now shoots rocket fists and flies, albeit extremely clumsily.
What do you say?
Your neurotransmitter levels are rising steadily.
The robot believes that the therapy has worked and offers to disconnect. But the guy can't stop there because his goal is to catch the attacker who caused the explosion. The super sensor shows that the person they need is on an island in the bay. The whole company is going to try out their new suits in action. They fly over the water, holding onto Baymax. And it becomes clear that they still do not know how to use the new abilities at all. But the team still flies over the bay and sneaks inside the building, where they see a strange, destroyed structure. In the control room, they launch a video file on which Cray demonstrates teleportation technology to the military. Girl Abigail sits inside the capsule and goes through the portal in it. But something goes wrong and an explosion occurs. The capsule is lost between measurements, and the general closes the experiment. The friends realize that Cray is using microbots to restore the portals. The guys do not have time to come to their senses as a block is already flying at them, launched by the villain. Baymax is back in place, and the friends begin to fight. Fred is immediately defeated. Wasabi hesitates, and the girls rush into battle and strike a couple of precise blows but run into each other. Hiro enters the fight just in time and rips the mask off Professor Callaghan. He escaped the fire with the help of microbots. It turns out only Tadashi died. Hiro is furious and orders Baymax to destroy the professor. The robot refuses, and then Hiro pulls out Baymax's medical identity chip. Deprived of compassion, the robot uses the entire combat arsenal, and the professor is on the verge of death. But his life is saved by the rest of the team. The guys grab the robot and put the chip back in, and the professor manages to pick up the mask and escape. Hiro feels betrayed and decides to act alone. He tries to pull the chip out again, but Baymax doesn't let him do it.
Will terminating Professor Callahan improve your emotional state?
Yes! No, I don't know.
Instead, he shows the boy his brother's video diary, in which he tells the story of the creation of the robot. Hiro is touched and ashamed of his behavior. The company of friends also arrives in time. They review the video footage from the island and find out that Callaghan hates Cray and wants to take revenge on him. That's because Abigail, the missing capsule pilot in the portal, is the professor's daughter. The professor attacks Cray during a public presentation and turns on the portal, which begins to destroy and pull into itself the building of Cray's company. Hiro arrived in time with the team. He tries to convince the professor that such cruel methods will not bring back those he loves. But the man is not ready to give up his plans, and the battle begins. The portal continues to tighten the building and everyone who finds themselves in the area of action, where Hiro also gets. While the professor is attacking and immobilizing the team, the guy is literally hanging by a thread. Suddenly, he remembers his brother's words about looking at the situation from the other side. And then friends free themselves from the trap. The team provokes the professor to attack in such a way that more and more microbots pulled into the portal. Bots are running out, and Baymax destroys Callahan's mask, depriving him of control. The portal falls to the ground, but continues to gain critical mass, threatening to explode. Everyone is running away. Only Baymax lingers. His sensors picked up signs of life inside the portal. Hiro and the robot go to an unknown dimension and find a capsule with a sleeping Abigail there. It would seem that salvation is close, but suddenly Baymax collides with an object flying into them. His armor is damaged and he can't fly any further, but he can sacrifice himself to push Hiro and the capsule with Abigail to the exit. The only thing that is needed for this is consent from the owner of the robot. Hiro is grieving and cannot let go of Baymax, who reminds him of his brother's love, but there is no other way out and he agrees. The mission is over. The medics are taking care of Abigail, and she wakes up on a stretcher until her shocked father is handcuffed. Some time has passed. Mysterious heroes who saved the city are being honored on TV. Hiro meets with friends in a cafe and hugs his beloved aunt. The guy finally comes to university. In the box, he has a rocket glove, which Baymax pushed him towards the portal. Hiro gives the fist a 5 when he suddenly discovers a robot personality chip inside. He pulled it out just before the blackout. Baymax gets a new body. And now, Hiro and his friends are already dissecting the city in their advanced costumes. The brothers' desire to help people becomes for the guy a guiding star. This is what Hiro will devote himself to. That's all for today. Share in the comments whether you have managed to find your vocation, or are you still in search? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like it so that cool stories come out as often as possible.